This is Channel 2 News at 5.
Good evening. The cost of New York City's school crisis climbed again today, both financially and emotionally.
Just a day after the city said the asbestos infection will delay the opening of the school system, a huge price tag was put on the asbestos cleanup. At the same time, parents today began the painful process of finding some way to keep their kids busy while they're at work. Channel 2's David Diaz has the latest for us live now in Brooklyn. David?
Yes, Tony, and we're at the Red Hook Pool. It's one of 11 Olympic-sized city pools that will be kept open past Labor Day at a cost of $23,000 a day. Now, who knows how much all of the various programs that are prompted by the delay in the opening of the schools will ultimately cost. But what we did find out today is that the tab for the cleanup of the asbestos problem, which is what prompted all of these other problems, will be at least $34 million. There's no rush. Despite what the calendar says, the last splashes of summer will not end with this holiday weekend. For New York City public schools will not open as scheduled, something a lot of the kids don't even know yet. When does school open?
The 9th.
The 9th?
September 9th.
You're wrong. September 20th. You didn't hear that?
No, we didn't.
When does school open?
September 20th.
And while the extra week and a half of vacation isn't breaking too many young hearts, it has created a headache for working parents of school-aged children and sent the city scrambling to come up with plans for taking care of or simply keeping busy the hundreds of thousands of younger children who would otherwise be in school. To that end, the city plans to keep pools and beaches open, extend daycare for about 12,000 children, continue summer feeding programs, make passes available for adults taking groups of kids on mass transit, have libraries extend their activities, use cultural and other facilities, and expand recreation programs at hundreds of sites citywide. At recreation centers such as this one, the St. John's Rec Center in Brooklyn, the adjustment won't be that big. Essentially, it will mean just expanding some of the hours that they would normally have during the school year. But in other places, it won't be that easy. The man coordinating the city's efforts says many organizations are offering their help.
Lots of community-based organizations, churches, other religious groups, and thousands of people who really want to help make this happen.
Of course, all of this is a consequence of the asbestos crisis in the schools. Yesterday, officials acknowledged what was widely suspected, that the crash reinspection and abatement program will not be finished by September 9th, as those same officials had steadfastly insisted it would. The new date for opening the million-student system is September 20th, and even by then, some percentage of the schools may not be open.
The range was projected from September 20th to October 4th. We believe that if everything comes together, we'll be able to hit the September 20th deadline.
Okay, well, city officials say they are considering an offer by John Cardinal O'Connor to make some underutilized archdiocesan school facilities available for some of those classes from schools that may not be open by September 20th. And this other note, Mayor Dinkins says he's considering going on city cable TV to teach a course to engage kids who might otherwise be in school. You'll bet that'll keep thousands of kids glued to their TV sets, Tony and Dana. Reporting live, I'm David Diaz in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Maybe they'll stay at those pools, David. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Now that the cost of the asbestos cleanup has been counted, no one is sure yet who is going to foot the bill. Inspection crews have been in schools nearly a month now, and now they will begin working around the clock to try to get the schools open, as David said, by September 20th. Besides cleanup costs, the city will have to pay for all of the extra programs for students who can't go to school. Today, Mayor Dinkins said he is looking for help to pay for it all.
There are adjustments made to a budget quarterly in any event. But obviously, given the nature of it, the genesis of this problem, we can look to the federal government. That doesn't mean they'll be responsive, but we can look and see if we can get some help there.
Meantime, the finger-pointing about who's to blame for the asbestos mess, that continues. Some school advocates vented their frustrations today during a taping of Channel 2's Sunday edition.
Realistically, let me say, schools are not opening on the 20th and maybe not for much longer after that. Realistically, we have asbestos problems and environmental risk all through our schools.
There has not been an announcement as to whether teachers are to report the 7th or the 8th, or there's rumors that they come in the 14th or 15th. My philosophy is this: make a decision. It may be controversial, but make a decision.
You can see more of that conversation on the asbestos problems in city schools on Sunday edition this Sunday morning beginning at 11 o'clock. Tony?
If the school crisis is disrupting your best laid plans, we have some telephone numbers that you can call to help you cope. To find out what the Parks and Recreation Department is doing to keep your kids busy, you can call 1-800-834-3832. That is 800-834-3832. There's also a hotline if you need information about meals and daycare. That is 800-246-4646. 800-246-4646. And the Board of Education still has its numbers, so you can check on the status of your child's school. That number is 718-472-1705. 718-472-1705. Now, if you missed any of the numbers, get a pen and piece of paper, and we will be showing them to you a little bit later on in the program, about 15 minutes from now. Dana?
Officials at Maimonides Hospital in Brooklyn today reassigned 2 workers after the explosion and fire on Wednesday that killed 3 elderly patients. Maimonides says 2 respiratory therapists will no longer work with patients because they failed to report that they got electrical shocks in the room where the fire started. Investigators have blamed the fire on a faulty respirator. Maimonides said today it is inspecting all similar equipment because of the fire.
A black man from Brooklyn who was burned alive and lived to tell about it told about the vicious attack today for the first time in a Florida courtroom. Christopher Wilson took the stand at the trial of the 2 white men who are charged with torching him. Reporter Warren Ellie has the latest for us now, live from the trial in West Palm Beach. Warren?
Tony, a very dramatic day today, a turning point as we go to a live picture of Christopher Wilson still on the witness stand. They're trying to shake his identifications of these suspects. Ever since the day Wilson was set on fire, he gave each of his 2 attackers nicknames. He called one Bright Eyes, the other the Mean One, for the racial slurs delivered as he was held at gunpoint. But until today, Wilson could only identify Bright Eyes.
This is the individual seated at the end of the table that you characterized as Bright Eyes.
Yeah.
Right. This is the individual that was involved in the attack upon you.
Yeah.
Right. Let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Mark Cohut.
Yeah.
Okay. You see that individual?
Yeah.
Please point that person out and let us know who you're talking about.
He's in the gray suit with the strap tie, white shirt.
Please let the record reflect that the witness has identified the defendant, Charles Rourke.
Before Wilson made the dramatic identifications, he brought more than one juror to tears with this description of what it felt like to be set on fire.
You feel this tremendous heat.
Tremendous heat.
Yeah.
Are you now on fire, sir?
Yeah.
Where are you still?
In the car.
In the car. You hear laughter?
Yeah.
Okay. Somebody running away?
Yeah.
What do you do?
The next thing I know, I don't know how I got out of the car. The next thing I know, I was running.
Right. You were running?
Yeah.
I know it's difficult for you. What parts of your body are on fire, if you could tell
I
us?
feel like my whole body is on fire. I can't tell you what part or anything. While I was running, I got to see my chest. And it's all white. You see like the skin hanging off. Look at my fingers and you see like these deep cuts inside my finger. All I remember, it was hurting all over.
What are you thinking, sir?
I was trying to get help.
And that help came from a man at a farmhouse who poured water on Wilson until the police arrived. And Tony and Dana, the point under question now is whether or not Wilson can be shaken from this surprise double identification. Until this point, he is standing his ground, saying he's sure these are the men who set him on fire.
Warren, the other day, Len Register, the prosecutor, left the courtroom in tears. How has that affected the trial?
Frankly, until today, it was devastating to this prosecution. They've stumbled. They've called the wrong witnesses. It's been embarrassing. But now Christopher Wilson is literally carrying this prosecution on his scarred shoulders, Dana.
So moving. All right, thank you. A Long Island lawyer's day in court has ended with him heading to prison for nearly 6 years. A judge in Hauppauge sentenced 57-year-old Alan David Harris to prison for swindling friends, family, and clients out of nearly $3 million in bogus real estate deals. Harris's victims included actress Shirley Jones. The judge said he was especially upset that Harris kept telling people he was an attorney 6 years after he was disbarred.
The mass exodus is well underway tonight from homes and offices throughout the area as the big Labor Day holiday weekend gets underway. And many people are spending a long last weekend, or what may be their last weekend, at the beach. And that is exactly where Channel 2's Vic Miles is, at the beach in Belmar, New Jersey. Vic?
All right, thank you, Tony. It had to happen, the Labor Day weekend, the unofficial end of summer. Well, it gives the bathers a last chance to get their last licks under the hot sun, and it gives the businessmen down shore in New Jersey a chance to tally up what's been a good season. There was the usual lineup for beach tags today along Belmar's Ocean Avenue. Folks wallowing in the great run of weather that has blessed these shores for virtually all of the summer.
We had a nice summer.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, lots of warm weather, nice days, the water was very nice.
This has been one of the best summers in years. Last summer it rained just about every weekend. This summer we didn't get any rain, so it's been beautiful.
And when the weather's good in Belmar, most everything else goes well. Business people talk to one of the best money seasons in a while. According to the Department of Travel and Tourism, beach business is up 25%. Good business reflected too in the motels and hotels. They're doing 10% better than last year.
This summer we've just had the most wonderful, cooperative Mother Nature. We've had glorious weekends, and it's brought to our town here in Belmar a great number of happy tourists.
Busy, a lot of day people coming down. Belmar seems to have had a pretty good year.
Anybody else with a pool fish for first place?
And for those who go down to the sea in ships, the fishing all summer was good too.
A lot of good fishing, a lot of good weather. Brings out the people.
How's the fishing?
Oh, it was good. Catching lots of fish.
Great season. Now all there is to hope for is good weather. Of course, over the next 3 days. Belmar, New Jersey, back to you. Vic Miles here.
Well, that is a big question, Vic.
Right, it is a question tonight because there is a severe thunderstorm watch. Stormfield will tell us about that when we continue. Also, a former American hostage makes a remarkable trip back to Lebanon.
And tonight, the quest for peace in the Middle East. PLO leader Arafat makes a hard pitch to other Palestinians. Then later on tonight, life in the hard lane for illegal aliens smuggled here from China. Our hidden camera shows you what that is like.
And the wild scene as Michael Jackson arrives on the next stop of his tour, and he's greeted by his family and a lot of supporters.
It's Macy's spectacular Labor Day mattress sale. Get 50% savings plus an extra 10% off the best names in bedding. You'll get super bonuses and extras. Bonus frames with sets, home trial, double the manufacturer's warranty. Save now, pay later with Macy's deferred billing. 50% savings plus an extra 10% off at Macy's spectacular Labor Day mattress sale. Now through Monday. Don't go anywhere else.
Quality oil paintings are just too expensive.
Not this Labor Day. The Starving Artist Group is back with a huge brand new collection by talented artists. And there's absolutely nothing over $49. It's a Starving Artist sale this Monday, 11 to 4.
At LaGuardia Airport at the Marriott. In Uniondale at the Long Island Marriott. In Hauppauge at the Radisson Islandia. In Tarrytown at the Westchester Marriott. In Hasbrook Heights at the Sheraton. In Iceland at the Woodbridge Hilton. In Somerset at the Marriott. In Parsippany at the Sheraton Terra. And in Stamford, Connecticut at the Marriott.
When you're hot, you're hot.
No one's hot.
Israel's ambassador to the United States said today more progress has been made in peace talks with Syria this week than in the previous 2 years. And despite violence and protests from both Arabs and Israelis today, diplomats kept pressing ever closer toward the first agreement ever between Israel and the PLO. In Paris, Israeli Foreign Minister Shimon Peres said the two sides are, quote, very close to complete peace. And PLO leader Yasser Arafat continues to ask for support in the Arab world. Today, he's trying to sell the plan to key Palestinian leaders in Tunisia. But not everyone is enthusiastic about the imminent prospects for peace. 2,000 Palestinian protesters marched through a refugee camp in Jordan carrying anti-peace banners. They say the plan for mutual recognition of Israel and the PLO is a sellout. In the occupied Gaza Strip, where the plan calls for Palestinian self-rule under Israeli stewardship, Israeli soldiers fired on rock-throwing Muslim protesters, slightly injuring 5 of them. Near the West Bank town of Hebron, an Israeli soldier was shot and killed by Palestinians. And near Jericho, which the peace plan says would become a Palestinian town, Israeli settlers stopped traffic. They're fearful of their future if Palestinians gain self-rule. Israeli opposition leaders say the plan is a threat to Israel's security.
So effectively what the government is doing is creating a PLO state right abutting Israel's fragile old borders, giving the PLO law, land, and security control. That means a PLO state which most Israelis, once they understand it, I must tell you, reject.
But in Washington, Israel's U.S. ambassador said Israel is not about to recognize a PLO state.
If we go to mutual recognition, it would be the state of Israel recognizing the organization, the PLO, as representing or speaking in the name of the Palestinian National Movement, but it won't be recognizing a state.
Former Defense Minister Ariel Sharon is angry. Israel's government is giving Arafat and the PLO even an inch. Sharon today called for Arafat's immediate arrest if he arrives in the occupied territories and said that Arafat should be tried for war crimes.
Former hostage Thomas Sutherland knows how dangerous the Mideast can be, but today he went back. He returned to Lebanon to meet with the group believed to be behind his kidnapping. Sutherland, seen here in 1991, when he returned to the U.S. after 5 years of captivity, went to Beirut today to talk to leaders of the Muslim fundamentalist group Hezbollah. He is the first former hostage to return to Lebanon since the last captive was released 2 years ago. Sutherland says there will be no peace in the Mideast until Israel withdraws from southern Lebanon. Tom?
Coming up tonight, some unsettled weather in our area. Storm Field will take a look at that and be your guide through our holiday weekend weather.
And later, is Prozac a wonder drug or a drug you should be wondering about? Dr. Peter Salgo has a special report. But first, there's Dennis.
As the Labor Day weekend races toward us, might be a good idea to stroll out and see a movie. I'm Dennis Cunningham, and I'll be back with 4 for the holidays.
We have some rough weather, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah, actually, we have some nasty weather heading
with all
toward
this
us
humidity,
right now.
I guess you got to figure it's going to come pouring down.
95 degrees was the high today. 99 in Newark, a new high for them, and with the humidity figured in, they had a heat index of 108. That's what it felt like in Newark today. I don't think anybody wanted, let's go to Newark. No, it was let's leave right now. Outside at the moment, 89 degrees, cooling down a little bit. Humidity is 58%. It is still miserable outside. If you've been out of air conditioning, you have really suffered today. Winds from the southwest at 9 miles an hour, and all the storms right now are moving in this direction. All right, here's what we've got. Warm air has moved up across the eastern seaboard. Right behind it, swinging in a cold front, leading edge of some cooler air, which is promising a gorgeous weekend for just about half of the United States. The other half for us, not likely to see quite as nice as a holiday weekend. This cold air is making its way in, digging underneath that hot air, and as a result, we have got some real severe thunder showers breaking out. Some of the storms in Pennsylvania right now showing tops to 50,000 feet. Here's how it all shaped up as we went along through the day today, developing radar. Notice what happens as we get to right now. Look at this tremendous wedge of rain, and also
Artists ranging from Aerosmith to Janet Jackson to Neil Young. The big winners of the night, the grunge rock group Pearl Jam. They took home 4 awards for their video Jeremy about teen suicide, including Best Video.